let's take a look at the homework questions from section 4.3. And most of the homework questions from 4.3 review some of the basic graphing techniques for linear functions. So for question number 1, I need to graph a line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. All right, so here's my point, 0, 2. So that's basically going to be this point right here, 0, 2. And my slope here is going to be 1, so you can write that as 1 over 1. And the way I kind of read the slope is you go up 1, and then you would go right 1 from your starting point, which is this point right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow the pattern here. Up 1 and right 1. So up 1, right 1 would be that point right there. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Now, once you run out of space, you can go back to the blue dot and go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, and just continue the pattern here. And there is your line, and just connect the dots. And there you go with that particular problem. Okay, let's move on to the next one, letter C here. So my starting point here is -2, -2. So that's left 2, down 2. So if I go left 2 and then down 2, I'm right here. So this is my starting point right there. And then from there, my slope is going to be -3 over 4. Now, what I like to do with the slope is I always go up first by the numerator. So I go up 3. And then because there's a minus sign there, I would go left 4 from the starting point. So up 3, left 4. All right, so from that starting point, which is right here, I want to go up 3 and left 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my next point right there. All right, so now that I ran out of space, I can go back to the blue dot and go in the opposite direction. So let's go down 3 and right 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 3 dots right there, and after that I can connect the dots by drawing a line. And that's how you do letter C there. All right, let's move on here. Letter D. My starting point is -3, -1. So left 3, down 1. So right here. So this is my starting point right there. And from there on, I have a slope of 3 over 2. Now I always go by the numerator by going up first, so up 3. Now, since this is a positive ratio here, or a positive slope, that means you would go right by the denominator, which is right 2. So up 3, right 2 from the starting point. So up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 2, 1, 2. Then up 3, over 2. And once I've kind of ran out of space, I can go back to my starting point, and then I can go down 3 and left 2. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 2, 1, 2, like that. There you go. There are my points there, and I can just draw a line connecting all 3 points. And that would be my graph for letter D. Let's move on to letter C here. My starting point is 6, -4. So 6, -4 means you go right 6 and down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my starting point right there. All right, so once again, that is my starting point right there. And then let's take a look at my slope here. My slope is -3 over 5. And once again, I always start with the numerator, so this means I go up 3. And because that minus sign, I would go left 5. Right, so I always go up first, and then if it's positive or negative, that will determine if I go left or right. All right, so from the starting point, let's go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm out of space there, so I guess I have enough room for just 3 dots there. And then after I kind of plotted those points, let's draw a line connecting those dots. And there's the line for letter E. Okay, so move on to letter G here. My starting point is 0, 0, so that's right at the origin. And my slope is -3, so that's really -3 over 1. And if I go ahead and figure out the direction here, I would always start with the numerator, which is 3. So that means I go up 3. And since I have a negative sign and a 1, that means I go left 1. So up 3, left 1 from that starting point. So up 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Right, and then from there, I would go down 3, over 1, down 3, over 1. And there are my points. And then let's just draw a line connecting all the dots. And that's how you do a letter G for that problem. Okay, let's keep on moving along here. For letter O, my starting point is -2, -5. So that's left 2, down 5. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you go, -2, -5. There's my starting point. And then undefined means you have a vertical line. So all you're doing now is you're just drawing a straight vertical line like that. And that would be your graph for letter O. Okay, that's great. Let's move on to the second question, question number 2, find the slope. So I got to find the slope. Then I got to find the x and y intercepts for each of the line. Now for this particular problem, I would just approximate the x and y intercepts. So for example, this dot right here, the green dot, that's both your x and y intercepts. So your x-intercept is 0 and your y-intercept is also 0. Then after that, let's find the slope here. So here's 2 dots. And if I draw a triangle here, the rise is 3, the run is 3, so 3 over 3 is 1. And my slope is positive because if I put my person on the far right-hand side, this person is going up the hill, indicating a positive slope. So that's how you answer question 2A. All right, let's move on to question 2B. Here is my y-intercept, that blue dot. So that has a value of 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y-intercept is going to be 4, as indicated by the blue dot. Now for my x-intercept, I'll do my very best to approximate this dot right there. I mean, you're left how many units? 1, 2, 3, about 3.5, 3 1/3 maybe. So the x-intercept would be -3 1/3. So that's just approximating the x-intercept there. And then ask yourself, what is the slope of this line here? For the slope of the line, you have to find 2 good points. So here's another good point right here, indicated by the green dot. And then what is your horizontal distance here? I believe that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 5. And then what is your vertical distance here? That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the slope is positive because the person is going up the hill. So the slope is rise over run, which is 6 over 5. And there's your slope for 2B. Okay, let's move on to letter D here. Let's go ahead and find the y-intercept, which is right here indicated by the purple dot, and that's about down 3 units, so your y-intercept is -3. And what about your x-intercept, which is indicated by the orange dot? So if I approximate that, that's about -0.75. So your x-intercept, if you want to write that as a fraction, that'll be -3 over 4 if I approximate that. Then after that, we need to find the slope. So let's go ahead and find 2 good points. So here's another good point over here. And let's go ahead and construct a triangle. So that's going to be 2 units. And then what is my rise here? That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so my slope is rise over run, which is 8 divided by 2. Now 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now ask yourself, is this a positive or a negative slope? Well, if I put my person on the far left-hand side, this person is going down the hill, so this is a negative slope. And that's it for letter D. Okay, let's move on to letter E. So some of the questions are kind of repeating in a way where you find the x and y intercepts. So the y-intercept is this orange dot right there. So the y-intercept is 1. What is the x-intercept? Well, the x-intercept is about here, the purple dot. So that's about a half. So we'll just say the x-intercept is a half. Then after that, let's go ahead and find the slope here. So here's another good point. And then let's go ahead and draw a triangle. So I'm going over 2 units, and my vertical distance is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise is going to be 4 over 2, right? Rise over run is 4 over 2, which is going to be 2. So my slope is 2. But once again, if I put my person on the far left-hand side, that person is going down the hill, indicating a negative slope. And that's it for question number 2. All right, let's move on to question number 3. So there's just 4 letters to try for question number 3 here. So let's go ahead and figure out what's happening for 3A. What is the x-intercept of this graph right here? Okay, so let me just kind of rewrite that right here. X minus 3y equals to -6. Now, if you want to find the x-intercept, just remember, an x-intercept is kind of like this red dot right here. Here's the x-intercept. Now, if you look at this point right here, I don't know what the x value is because that's the x-intercept, but the y value equals to 0. So for any x-intercept, the y value is equal to 0. Okay, so if y equals to 0, that means this part right here, where you see the 0, that's going to be 0, right? So this whole thing just goes away. And now you have x equals to negative 6. And this right here is your x-intercept. So x equals to negative 6 is your x-intercept. And I believe this is the best point right there, option number 4, which is indicated by 6, 0. As you can see, the y value there is 0. Okay. So perhaps this negative 6, if I had to approximate, maybe that's indicating negative 6, and once again, the y value would be 0 there. All right, so that's how you do that particular question. Let's move on to 3b now. All right, so 3b, let me just rewrite this down here. This is x minus 3y equals to negative 6. And for this question, I want to find the y-intercept. Okay, so if I think about a graph, if I think about any kind of a graph, here is my y-intercept right here, this purple dot. So if I take a look at the y-intercept here, I don't know how high that is, but I do know that the x value is going to be 0. So how does that help us with our particular problem? So if I know the x value is 0, that means this part here is going to be 0. So that just kind of goes away. And now you're left with negative 3y equals to negative 6. You can divide both sides by negative 3. If you continue there, y would equal to positive 2. All right, so the y-intercept is positive 2. And the best letter that represents that is option number 2 here. So the y-intercept is 0, 2. And hopefully that makes sense because this 2 is kind of representing the height there, and this 0 is representing the x value there, right? So it's right in the middle, and we're going up 2, right? So the x value there is 0. So whenever you're dealing with a y-intercept, the x value is always 0. Okay, great. Now let's move on to the last 2 letters here. What's the slope of x equals to 4? Well, x equals to 4, if you think about x equals to 4, here's 4. If I just graph x equals to 4, it's just a vertical line. And we have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. So this will be option number, is that 9? Option number 9. An undefined slope is a vertical line. Okay, and then finally we have this one here, y minus 2 equals to 0. If I bring that negative 2 over, that becomes y equals to 2. And how do you graph y equals to 2? Well, that's just a horizontal line. And a horizontal line has a slope of 0. So this is going to be option number 7. All right, and that's how you answer the selected questions from question number 3. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Question number 4, some more graphing problems here. Draw a line with a given slope and intercept. Okay, so very similar to question number, I'm not sure it was question number 1 or 2, but we're given a point, and the point is the x-intercept, which is negative 2, 0. And remember, for an x-intercept, as I was saying, the y value there is just 0, right? So the y value is always 0 for an x-intercept. Okay, so negative 2, 0 means you go left 2, and if you stay there, there's your x-intercept right there. And after that, we have a slope of 1, right? So the slope is 1, which means it's really 1 over 1. So you go up 1, and then you want to go right 1. All right? So from that point, let's just go up 1 over 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, and continue the pattern there. And then just draw a line, and there you go. There's your graph. Okay. A letter B now. Now we're saying that the y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Remember, for a y-intercept, your x value is always 0. So for negative 3, we go down 3 units. So 1, 2, 3. And your slope right here is negative 2. So let me kind of rewrite that over here. So that's really a negative 2 over 1. So you go up 2. I always go up first. And then if I have a negative sign, which I do here, that means I go left 1. So up 2, left 1. All right, so let's go up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1. And now that I'm out of space here, let's go back to the blue dot and let's go down 2, right 1. And then after that, I can't graph anymore, so we will now draw a line connecting all those points. All right, that's good. And let's move on to letter C now. Now we're given the x-intercept, 3, 0. So 3, 0 is right here. There's the x-intercept. And remember, for any x-intercept, the y value is 0. And our slope is going to be negative 3 over 4. All right, so I always start with the numerator. So this means I go up 3. And this negative and that 4 means I go left 4. Okay, so up 3, left 4 from that x-intercept value. So let's go up 3 and then left 4. Then up 3, left 4. And that's about all the space I have for that particular problem. And let's just draw a line connecting those dots, and that's your final answer for that problem there. Okay, let's keep on going here. What's the next question here? Letter G. So this is 4G. The x-intercept is 1, 0, so there it is. And based on this fraction there, negative 5 over 3, so that means you go up 5 and left 3. All right, so let's go up 5 and left 3. And then now that we're out of space there, I guess we can go down 5 and right 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. All right, so after that, we'll just draw a line, and there you go. There's your answer for letter G there. Okay, let's keep on going here. Letter H. So now the questions are kind of getting repetitive here. So 0, negative 2 for the y-intercept, and this means you go up 3 and right 5. Okay, so up 3 and then over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then we go down 3 and over 5. All right, and then there's my graph, and then let's go ahead and just plot the points there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Is there any more? Letter I, so the x-intercept now is 0, 0. That's also your y-intercept, and your slope is negative 3, so that means you go up 3 and then left 1. Right, so it's negative 3 over 1. Okay, so let's go up 3 and then over 1. Up 3 over 1. Then down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. And then there is your line. Okay, so once you do enough of these, your speed should be getting better, and hopefully you'll be very confident with these kind of problems. All right, I believe question number 6 is the next one. Determine the slope of the line with a given x and y intercepts. Okay, so we've done these kind of questions before where we have to find the slopes. So let me go bring up, let's just label the points here. So this is x1, y1, x2, and y2. We'll be using the slope formula quite a bit on the back pages. So the slope is rise over run, which is a difference in your y values over a difference in your x values. Okay, so what is y2? Y2 has a value of 2, so this will be 2 minus, and then what's the value of y1? Well, the value of y1 is 0, so 2 minus 0 divided by, now x2, if I look at x2 here, that has a value of 0, so 0 minus, and what's x1? x1 is 2, right? So 2 minus 0 is 2, and 0 minus 2 is going to be negative 2, so this slope is negative 1. Right? So same idea for the next one here. The slope is rise over run, which is the difference in your y values over the difference in your x values. All right, so here's y2, which is this guy right here. So that's going to be negative 2 minus y1, which is 0. All divided by your x2 value, which is 0, minus your x1 value, which is 2. All right, so negative 2 minus 0 is going to be negative 2, and 0 minus 2 is going to be negative 2, and that gives you a value of positive 1. Okay, and then finally, let's do letter E here. I know it's going to be, this is my y2, this is my y1, so y2 minus y1 is 0 minus 3, and this is going to be my x2, and this is my x1, right? So it's going to be 0 minus 0. Now 0 minus 3 is going to be negative 3, and 0 minus 0 is 0. Now you can't divide by 0, so this is your undefined slope. Okay, so there is no slope for that one. And that's it for question 6E.